Hi, my name is Chandan, and I'm recording this video for my midterm for software requirement and specifications. I'll start with question number one, which was to improve this requirement given the system shall backup data regularly. This is my improved requirement, but first I'll go over the assumptions that I've made to attempt this question. So the first one is the system in context is an online exam slash quiz application. And the other one is that the requirement is to retain backup for students' responses while the exam is in progress to avoid students lose on their progress due to any unexpected interruption, for example, in case of a power loss or system crash. So here is our improved requirement, which says the system shall back up all student entered exam responses every 30 seconds to secure encrypted cloud database associated with students session ID while the exam is in progress so that the student's progress is not lost if the session ends unexpectedly. Each backup shall include only new or modified data since the previous backup, which is also known as the incremental backup approach. In the event of a backup failure, the system shall retry up to 4 times at 15-second intervals. If all retry attempts fail, the system shall notify the student with an in-app alert and log the incident for administrative review. So here is what we try to improve in this newer version of the requirement. So we added more details like uh, how often the backup should be ran, that is every 30 seconds, and what should happen if the backup fails. The system should retry 4 times in the interval of four on interval of 15 seconds. So that's add to the completeness of the requirement. Then we have added the details of what value or what purpose this requirement solves. We said that uh, we need this backup retention every 30 seconds so that if in case an abrupt session and ends, in case of a power outage or system crash, then the progress made by the student is not lost and is saved in the cloud database. So when the user, when the student logs in back, they can still continue from where they were and they don't have to, start all over again. So that being said, we improve the necessity component of the requirement. Third one is that we eliminated the ambiguity of the requirement. The original version was very ambiguous and very open to interpretation. So we added details to make it specific. So that's the third one. The last one is that we added information that would also serve as metrics of measuring. For example, we said that we need the backup to be run or stored every 30 seconds. So that's a metric uh, of measure. Then we mentioned we want it in a cloud database storage. And then we mentioned what should happen in case of backup failure. It should try 4 times. If even after 4 times it doesn't work out, then it should give out an error message to the student and it should log an incident with the admin team. So these are all verifiable requirements or components of the requirement. Now moving to question number two, which is okay, let me read out the question first. So the question says a team has attempted to adopt Scrum as an agile software development methodology. They have had mixed results. The product owner is trying to lead the team through the Scrum process and educate the team on the process, but it doesn't seem to be working. Developers believe the daily Scrum meetings are a waste of time when they could be using it for programming instead. So a couple of things here. Number one, uh, the product owner is trying to lead the team through the Scrum process, which is essentially not the product owner's role in a Scrum team. That is the Scrum Master's role. So, number one, there is a Scrum Master in the team missing. The Scrum Master role is to lead the team and, you know, continuously educate them about the Scrum process and make sure the team doesn't deviate. So number one is they need a scrum master. The product owner is overworking and trying to fit into the scrum master's role as well. So that is wrong. Number two is the developers are complaining about daily scrum masters is a waste of time. They could be using this time for their development instead. So the purpose of the Scrum meeting is totally misunderstood here. Scrum meeting is basically a 15-minute touch point every single day, which is not really just a status call, or shouldn't be more than 15 minutes. It's basically to reconnect with the team, to discuss any blockers, not to discuss but just to mention any blockers, and mention the progress that they have made in the past day, so that the team is motivated, and they are sharing information transparency, so it serves the purpose of that. Any details, for example, if someone has a blocker that in their development, they can mention it during the scrum meeting, but they can be discussed after the scrum meeting or in a later session with a smaller group, whoever is necessary, so that the scrum meeting still serves the purpose of being a scrum meeting and does not exceed in time. Number three, the team seems to be very individually focused. They're focusing on their individual tasks rather than being focusing on the sprint goal. So that's one thing, and they are lacking collaboration which is a must for an uh, agile framework. So that's the fourth thing. So all in all, they need a Scrum Master and more training about the agile and Scrum frameworks. Okay, next we will talk about question number three, which is about the regex website comparisons. So we were given these two websites which basically help us test and validate the regex expressions. So a few things that I would like to discuss about these two websites, based on the usability of these two websites. So this is regex 101. The number one difference I analyzed is basically so when you land onto the main or landing page of regex 101 versus regexr.com. So regexr.com, as you can see, it has popping colors, I would say. It sets the user back a little bit. It's too dark, and as compared to regex 101, so that's my number one at the first glance review. And the color scheme of regex 101 is very much soothing to the eyes as compared to regexr.com. So regex 101 takes the point for uh, maybe not user friendliness, but uh, looks of it, probably. Yeah, how it looks and look and feel. Number two, when you land onto regexr.com, I see it pops up with an example. So this is a great tool, I feel, especially for beginners. The website is trying to uh, educate you as in how it can be used. So this is where you put your regex pattern, and here goes the string you want to test, or and the string you want to pull out or filter your regex values or patterns. As compared, this one, it tells you as well, but yeah, so I think regex r takes the point here for usability. It's like, it's like a helpful guide it is providing to the user as soon as you land in. Okay, number three, I realized or figured out that regex 101 can be used with so many programming languages. You can, paste your regex pattern and string from any, you know, any of these languages: Python, Golang, Java, .NET, Rust, etc., and many more. So it's an advanced tool. Regex 101 seems to be an advanced tool for experienced, or, people like who are already working in tech, developers, QA, or, familiar with programming languages. However, regexr.com seems to be targeting very beginner audience, as it only supports JavaScript and PHP regex and not many languages. So that's number two. The audience differs. So regexr.com is more user friendly and is for more beginner users as compared to regex 101. Okay, and then regex 101 in terms of learnability and memorability. Again, as I mentioned, number one, it gives you a helpful guide as soon as you land on, as in how to use it. And the other amazing thing about regexr.com is that this cheat sheet, it provides a cheat sheet for all uh, regex values and patterns. That is another very helpful tool. So learnability, in terms of learnability and usability, uh, the user, if having any troubles, they don't have to Google it up, so it's a quick cheat sheet that the website is providing. So it's a great helpful tool. Okay, now I will perform a quick test. So here I have taken a data set, which is a mix of valid emails and invalid email formats. I have pasted it on both regexr.com and regex 101, and I have taken this regex expression, which is basically filtering out all the valid uh, emails from this data set. So for regex 101, as we can see, it has more advanced features like it shows detailed error messages and group views. So for example, it you know so it gives us information about uh, so match number 3 is from this to this character to this character, and it clearly shows us where, from where each match starts and where it finishes, and it's color coded. uh, yeah. So and when you hover over it, you can see the details of it. It assigns groups, and as well as in regexr.com as well, we can see a similar pattern, but uh, uh, not as detailed as regex 101. Okay, so that being said, regex 101 takes the win for being for, let's say, domain usability, domain category, because it is more detail in terms of the information it provides, and in terms of the languages it supports, in terms of the error messages it can generate, and more, it's basically it helps with debugging as well. So it's quite a technical tool for technical audience. uh, so in terms of domain, it wins, and in terms of user friendliness, learnability, memorability, regexr.com takes the win. So that's my analysis. The domain, in the domain part, regex 101 takes it ahead because, as I mentioned, it's more it is providing more technical tools uh, for people who are very actively in tech domain, I would say. So that's my analysis. Now we will go to question number 4, which is about the UML. Okay, here is the UML code, oh sorry, here is the Python code that we were given, and this is my UML class diagram. So as you can see, each of the class mentioned in the code has been reflected here in the diagram. For the school class, the course attribute is a private attribute. As we can see here, it is with double underscore, so it comes with a negative, whereas the name attribute does not have this double underscore, so it's a public attribute, so it's shown here. And then we have the print method, which is also public accessible by other classes, so here we have the print. Then we have the course class, where we have the instructor mentioned as a private attribute, as it is starting with a double underscore. Uh, so this is reflected with a negative sign, reflecting the privateness of it. And then we have students, which is public, accessible by other classes. So, and it is an array, it's a list, array list. So we have this with a positive sign. Then we have the enrollment count method, which is again mentioned as a private method here, not accessible by other classes. So here it goes with a negative, and then print goes with a positive. And then instructor, oh my bad, we have class instructor, which only has one attribute of name, which is not private. So we have it here with a positive sign. We have part-time, okay, we have student class, which only has one attribute, public attribute name, so it's reflected here. And then we have part-time students, which is taking the student class, using the student class. Uh, and we have this super method in here, which means this is an inheritance of student class. It's inheriting from the student class. So part-time student is basically an inherited class of student, and it's a type of student. So that's reflected with this inheritance notation here. Now I will go over the relationship between all other classes. So for school, we are passing a course, a private attribute course in here, and but this course also exists without the school class. So this one right here is, since we are only passing one course in this school class, so we have one-to-one relationship. A school has one course, so that's reflected here. But the school can also exist, sorry, the course can also exist without the school, because it's an independent class on its own. So we can also call it an aggregation relationship, but mostly we do not uh, represent or show the relationship, aggregation and composition relationship uh, in the UML diagram. So I have put it simply an association between school and course. So it shows has relationship. School has a course one to one. I mean, this school has one course, so that's the relationship right here. Then we have a relationship between the course and the instructor. If we look at the course class, a private attribute of instructor is being passed. However, the instructor class can exist on its own without the course as well. So since only one instructor is being passed, it is not an array, it's just one object of instructor is being passed in this course class. So we have this has, or taught by relationship. One course has one instructor, one course is being taught by one instructor. Next we have the relationship between the course and the student class. So let's go to the course class, and as we can see here, multiple, not multiple, but a student array is being passed in this class. Um, yeah, it says students, and if you look here, so self-taught students, which reflects a list of students being passed. So that makes it one-to-many relationship. So a course can be enrolled by many students. And we already discussed about part-time student being the inherited class of student. So that is all. And lastly, I think, okay, so we have a private attribute, hours per week, which is an integer for the part-time student class. So that's been reflected here. Okay, that's all. That's all about my midterm. Thank you so much.